There's only a few times in history where you get these dramatic changes, and we are in the middle of such a dramatic change.
With the younger generations as well, it's not equal by any means, but there's more opportunity for women to. It's not so much that you have to go to school, get married, have kids, and that's your
It's
goal.
a whole completely different new mindset.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're here after the recording with Sue. We were talking about conquering the fear of pressing the red button and doing video, whether it's live or recorded, and then putting it out there. And Jenny, that was in the background, Jenny helps me with social media. And an interesting conversation started coming up. So I said, we need to record this because Jenny was giving her point of view on the fact that doing the interview, we were talking about the older generation kind of tends to be more of have a fear of, the devices.
Just never grew up with the web.
But now we have a perspective from a younger person, a millennial. Are you a millennial? You're not even you're a millennial. Okay, so what's the next one? What's the next one?
Generation Z.
Generation Z.
Yeah, I
lost.
can't keep up with it. Yeah, I can't keep up with it.
There are as well different types of millennials as well, because we were saying like the 30-year-olds are also millennial, but they don't associate with like being 30 and being 21. We're all millennial, or I'm 22, but we're all millennials, but the 30-year-olds don't, like, it's different. We all grew up differently. So I think there should be a shift there, but we're all
and I think the difference is because of the thing I talk about a lot, which is this rapid change, because it makes a huge difference. Like I said, my 33-year-old, my youngest, is pretty web savvy, but she's not like you would be. Yeah, it's fascinating to see this gradation. I think you're right.
It's so interesting because I don't think technically that I'm web savvy, but I guess when I speak with like the older generation, things that seem so natural to me are things that not everyone, like even when you and I speak about some things, like you'll say like if you can do it, anyone can do it, but I think you're like good at social media and good at all this stuff, but there's still that resistance I feel from you.
Yeah,
But for me, it's like, oh, this is
that's what you grew up with. So it's natural for the younger generation because that's all they know. It's like everybody's doing it. So So is it easy for you then to just push that red button and do a video?
That's the thing. I'm not sure because I think I can't generalize. But for me personally, I've always kind of been. I'm the youngest, so I've always been a bit of a performer, a bit of a attention seeker with my family. So it might just be my personality. Not to say that I'm like super comfortable in front of a camera, but it's not as daunting to me, I guess. And it might just be me being, but yeah, I think pushing the red button is fun. I don't know.
Interesting.
You guys were talking about how daunting it is, but I didn't relate to that. So I don't know if that's a me thing or if that's a millennial thing.
I think also it's because we've become used to FaceTime, which is pushing the red button. It's all the same, right? I mean, I've got one kid lives in northern New York, another one lives in the Netherlands, and one lives in Alberta. So when I talk to them, it's not this, like when I first came to Canada and we'd have a 3-minute call with my parents and we were worried it was costing too much and how's the weather, and the phone went down, right? That was basically, now, I mean, I get on Zoom or FaceTime or Facebook Messenger video, we talk for hours. And that, I think, makes it a lot easier. If you grow up with that, right, you can use video very easily.
Well, you were saying how important videos is already and how it's going to become dominant over maybe more traditional ways, not really traditional, but like blogging or some writing, that might have to switch to vlogging. Vlogging is already huge.
It's huge.
And like you said, it's personally I would go to YouTube on how to do something. I would never read because I feel like that's a waste of my time. Like I can watch someone do it in 10 seconds, get the gist, and do it. Why would I search and then read through a long article?
I do
Yeah.
the same. I mean,
And,
I
you know, we all
always
do-
go
we
to
all do
YouTube
that.
first.
We
Yeah.
all do that.
Yeah.
And my brother, he's probably going to go, why are you talking about me? He's listening to this. But my brother, he's pretty much remodeled this whole big house. And he's still in the remodeling phase. But I remember asking him, how'd you learn how to do all this stuff? He's like, YouTube.
Yeah.
YouTube.
Yep.
I didn't even know how to tile. Like, okay, I learned on YouTube.
It's
Yeah.
amazing because it's
Yep.
also tapping, like YouTube is going, maybe not YouTube, but educational videos are going to be huge because now like you said, YouTube is free. The internet is, low cost, I would say, and a lot of people have access to it. And on YouTube you have, on the internet you have YouTube videos teaching you how to do anything. And also when I was in school, like if I didn't understand a math lesson, I would go home and I would search on YouTube the math lesson. So I'm teaching myself.
Tutor.
Exactly.
Sure.
And so that's going to be interesting to see what happens with actual education system when you have so many new people who don't necessarily have the access or money to go to a traditional school, but they can now learn online anything they want.
Well, my kid who lives in the Netherlands, she's a grown-up lady, and her husband, they both teach in international schools, and they are very aware of this transition. In fact, she's taught in Guyana and third worlds where already everything switches. You come to school to do projects where you learn to work together. All your learning is done on the web. It's a flip by 180 degrees. Yeah. And in fact, they're coming back to Canada in a few months, and they are looking, in fact, at transitioning to teaching totally online now and building online presence.
That's going to change so much.
So, yeah. In fact, I'm actually surprised it hasn't changed as rapidly as I thought it would. Yeah.
Maybe the older generation is resisting it and pulling.
I think it needs an organized government presence, and nobody, or UN presence or decisions like that, and nobody's got together to do it. But you are absolutely right. It's all changing.
It opens so many doors to people who didn't have that opportunity before, right? Not everyone can go to school. Not everyone can go to higher education. But if you have online, it's like, maybe you're not, I don't know how they'd get certified, but
at least they get the knowledge, even if they don't get the
well, MIT has put all of its courses online. So they're all online for anyone available in the world. And so's, I think, Berkeley might have done too. Yeah.
There's Khan Academy, KHAN Academy that's where I learned all my math.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So there's no excuse.
Actually, there's no excuse.
There's really no excuse. And there really is no excuse. We have the devices. We have, we just have to get over ourselves, like
but
you
going
said.
back to the point is, I feel for women, it's not an excuse, but I can understand women's hesitation.
Yes, the fear of being judged.
Yeah.
It's the fear of not being liked, the fear of coming across not smart enough. It's the fear of, well, who are you thinking that? Well, who do you think you are? Well, this has actually happened to me. Who do you think you are going out there doing this and that? So there is that fear. The point is, so I'm glad that the younger generation doesn't have to deal with that.
We do. We I
to
think
the same extent. Maybe not, because we were not, like in my generation and Sue's generation, we did not grow up with the devices. So you guys have the advantage, even though you said you grew up with dial-up.
I did when I was a kid. I remember dial-up, but I also, it's been so many years that I had regular internet in the house, and I remember getting a smartphone for the first time as well. Like I think my generation was the last generation that really went through every stage.
From the cassette tape too.
Yes, I had a CD player, and then you went to an MP3 player, and then I remember when iPods came out.
Did you not have cassettes? My daughter had cassettes.
I didn't have
the actual
cassettes. No, cassettes were a bit above my time, before my time. But I knew what there are some children today that I saw videos online that they look at a CD player or a cassette player and they're like, I don't know what this is. What is this? And they're like, is this like an iPod? Like what? And it's so funny, but it's like, this is real life. This is what's happening.
And it's rumored, there's some guys saying 2020, these will be gone. And we'll be having something equivalent to Google Glasses or something, and we're just in the air. It's already here. It just hasn't gone mainstream.
I don't know
why it'll be holograms, it'll be teleportations. I mean, Tony Robbins teleported to Melbourne from Florida 2 years ago and gave a 6-hour boot camp on stage in Melbourne from Florida, and he was there.
What do you mean teleported? Like,
So he looked like he was on stage.
He looked like it wasn't
There's a
true
projection.
teleportation,
Okay,
a la, you know, beam me up, Scotty, but it's enough.
Yes.
And a friend of mine was in the audience and said it was incredible. You wouldn't have known he wasn't there.
Really?
So,
That accurate?
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So all this is coming online
Yeah.
too, you know.
Mm.
And they will say, iPhones, oh, I remember
Yeah.
iPhones. God, they were primitive, weren't they?
Yeah.
So that'll be the next thing, right?
that is true.
Yeah.
It's very
Yeah.
scary, but
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. It's
Yeah,
exciting.
It is exciting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
Honestly, 10 years ago, I wouldn't have predicted what would come. So
Yeah.
I can't
Who would
know.
have?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it, what was it? 2006 was YouTube, 2007 was Facebook, or maybe, no, 2005 YouTube, 2006, and then 2007. Only 10 years ago did iPhones appear, and everything has changed. Those three were like a perfect storm.
Yeah.
Everything changed,
Mhm.
and you know, and that's, I know for a lot of women they haven't realized
Yeah.
because it happens so fast, right?
It's like getting out of your comfort zone, and I think with every new development, someone figures out a way to make money off of it.
Yep.
Like YouTube didn't start out. YouTube was
Yep.
very different when it started. I think it
Yep.
started off with some sort of dating website thing, and then it
Was
turned
it
into
really?
yeah.
I didn't know that.
And now it's like, you know,
Yep.
people have careers off YouTube. People
Yes.
have YouTube is everything. So
Well, my son-in-law, he makes all his money.
Yeah.
Well, he's an artist, so he either sells directly or he sells on YouTube.
I
Yeah.
was just telling Francesca, my cousin is a YouTuber in the
Yep.
Middle East, and she's
Yeah.
doing very well, and
Yeah.
it's a career for her. So
Yes.
it's amazing, really.
Well, I said I was just back in England just a month or so ago because of my daughter's wedding, and it's hilarious. I've got a great niece who is 4, gorgeous, lovely, you know, curly blonde hair. She's so cute. And what do you want to be when you grow up, Bella? I'm going to be a YouTuber.
Mhm.
And at 4, she, you
Mhm.
know, and her mum, her gran, who actually was staying with me here last weekend, is not hugely computer savvy, and she'll ask Bella a question. She'll say, "Gran, YouTube it or Google it," and she's 4.
Wow.
So this is another
Yeah.
step again.
Yeah.
It's fascinating to watch. Yeah.
This thing, you just, like you said, you have to dive into it.
Yep.
Like, because it's gonna happen regardless.
Yeah.
Yep.
You kind of have to go with it.
You know, what was my quote recently? I remember the quote, you can't run a business.
Traditionally, it's
Yeah.
like
I can't even remember my own quote. It's like running a business old school is like riding a mule on a highway,
Yes.
expecting not to be run over.
Yep.
I mean, like,
Yep.
well, something along those lines, because that's really what it
Yes.
is,
Yep.
right? You got to keep up with what's
Yeah.
going on, or you're going to get left behind,
Yep.
whether
Yeah.
you do have a business or not,
Yes.
right? Like, I even see with my parents, like, to get them to, it took forever for them to decide to have a computer
Mm.
so that they could Skype.
yes.
Yes.
With us children. Right?
Yes.
Neither my brother or I live, close by. So it took forever, and then it's still a struggle for them to even do email.
Yeah.
Like they
Yeah.
don't know. They just know how to click, and then whenever there's an update, they freak out because everything freezes and they have to get somebody to come in. So that learning curve seems so huge the more you push it,
Mhm.
right? So it's good to.
Yeah, I mean, I was at a
Jump,
a
just
party for a friend's birthday just a few weeks ago. Same issue. The husband, who's been a friend of mine for about 40 years, he said, "I'm so worried when I die." His wife happens to be a Sue as well. "I don't know what Sue's going to do because she refuses to have anything to do with a computer. He's got all of his finances, everything is organized."
Mm.
And he says, "She won't, but she will be in trouble if he
Yeah.
goes first," which, I hope he doesn't. But I mean, that's the reality for a lot of folks. And that worries me hugely too, because the longer you don't do it, the bigger the difference, because it's just going up exponentially. It becomes increasingly difficult to catch up. And so that's why I say, get on it now.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the beauty of it is, like Jenny said, you can create a YouTube channel and
Yeah.
monetize it, and
Yeah.
just make that makes your
Yeah.
career. So if you're even somebody that goes, "Well, I don't have any experience, but you can do something. You know
Yeah.
something. Everybody knows something
Yes,
in one way that someone else doesn't know, even though it's the same information,
yes,
right?"
And the thing is, on YouTube as well, people are looking not only to learn something, but to laugh, to
Yeah.
enjoy. Like, I follow people on YouTube who they're simply people, but
Mhm.
I've, through watching them, created this
reality
yeah.
videos.
No, but like they vlogs, like their daily vlogs. I realize if I think about it that I'm watching them go to the grocery store, and I understand that that's kind of weird, and that's why am I watching another person go to the grocery store? But that's the way things are now. Like I don't really watch television. I watch YouTube, and this is what I do. Is I follow these certain people that I've become part of their following, and it's so interesting to see just how different things have become. Once again, like when I was 7 to now, and
so you give hope to people that have no clue on what to do, because it's just basically you're saying just record what you're doing in your daily life, and there you go. You can have your own channel. Yeah. Push that red button, like Sue says. And
fundamentally,
it doesn't even have to do. It's gone to the point where it's not even just about living your dreams, and you owe it to yourself to live your dreams, but it's more than that. Like
it's more the day to day.
It's more finances, like things like that are all gonna be online, and they are already, and they're gonna continue. And so to be afraid of it is one thing, but to allow it to continue, being its block for yourself, you're not doing yourself any favor.
So wise.
I
wasn't that wise at 22.
I was not. Absolutely not. That's
but you're absolutely right. That's where it is. And and it's interesting. You should say. I mean, I haven't had a TV probably in 10 years for the same reason. I everything I watch is YouTube and tailored to myself. So
and now you can watch channels directly on iTunes.
Yeah, and in fact, Facebook has announced this week it's getting into TV too. So it will.
I knew it was coming up with something.
Yeah, we knew. Yeah,
Amazon got into its own TV stuff too. So it's just everyone's trying to compete with Netflix now because why wouldn't you? Disney's pulling their stuff from Netflix. They're going to create their own streaming service. It's interesting.
It is interesting. That will get saturated as well, and it will lead into a whole new something else.
It's. I mean, it's a very. That's why I do it, because it's such an exciting time to be alive. There's only a few times in history. I'm a real history buff. There's only a few times in history where you get these dramatic changes, and we are in the middle of such a dramatic change. And it is difficult for so many people to say, I'm on board. I'll go with it.
Because of the fear of the unknown, right?
Fear of the unknown. But I think, I'll be honest, we're not getting a political discussion, but it's what you're seeing politically a lot. Folks who feel they're getting left behind and feel threatened by it. But in the end, that train is trucking. And it ain't going to stop.
Whether you're on it or not, it's going.
That's right. It's moving. So you better run.
Oh, it's fascinating. Yeah.
So good to get your perspective.
Yes,
Thank
really,
you.
very wise.
Yes.
Hey, see, I said you got wisdom in your later years, but I see that too, though. I see some unbelievable kids today with wisdom beyond their years, and I think it's because they can access stuff.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it's the access to. You choose what you want to. There are still some people that choose to spend their time doing one thing, and then there are others that choose to delve so deep into new information. And one of my pet peeves is when older generations don't take younger generations seriously just because of their age. But it's like, but I have access to so much information. Like I'm not coming to you with just my opinion. I'm coming to you with hours of research or whatever. And I think that's one problem, is that everyone should be giving each other a chance.
Yeah, I think your generation is not being given enough credit. But I totally agree with
that. The selfie generation.
Yeah, the selfie generation.
Even that, you can argue is a testament to this new verge or this new surge of self-confidence on younger people's parts. It's like, yes, maybe it is kind of vain to take a picture of yourself and post it, but why not?
If that's all you do all day long,
yes, of course. Everything needs balance.
Yeah, exactly. So no, I really truly think that the younger generation is not given enough credit. Like you, I've met other younger women. My daughter's age. My daughter's 27. She's going to go mom. We shouldn't be saying my age in public, but I just see the wisdom. There's so much more wisdom, and I think you're right. I think it is because you have so much more access to information that we didn't have. I didn't have access to information growing up. You didn't have.
Nope.
You have to go to school to get.
Yeah.
Now in your pastime, what do? You look through your phone. You look through your Facebook, your social media. There's an article. There's something else. So you're constantly being fed information. Now it's up to you what you select.
Exactly.
To choose to read, but I mean by default you kind of start seeing.
Well, I always think, back when my kids were young and they'd ask a question around the dinner table, if we didn't know the answer, there was nowhere to go.
Yeah.
Nowhere. Well, yeah.
But even that, like,
Yeah. Well, actually, the Encyclopedia Britannica man came round in 1984 when we just bought our first computer, and it was 16K, and it kept breaking. But he came to the door and tried to put the guilt trip on me that I needed to buy the Encyclopedia Britannica or else I was a bad mum. And I remember saying to him, look, I say this very nicely, but I think in 5 years you won't be in your job because Encyclopedia Britannica all going to be online. And he said, don't be daft, not in a million years.
And now it's online.
Yeah, it'll be a historical piece.
Yeah.
Like then it'll be a collectible.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
isn't it very expensive? Wasn't it very expensive?
Oh,
Yes,
it's
it's
hugely
expensive.
expensive.
That's
And out of date by the time you bought it.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
that's not smart.
No. No. But in those days that was as close as you could get to Google.
It was as
That
close
was
as you
it.
could. That was Google.
That was your
I think another important thing to note is that with the younger generations as well, it's not equal by any means, but there's more opportunity for women to. It's not so much that you have to go to school, get married, have kids, and that's your
It's a
goal.
whole completely different new mindset.
Yes.
That is totally new mindset.
And that opens up so many doors for so
Yes.
many women and men, and it's just it's much different.
But I think that is because a lot more women like Sue have been coming out saying,
Yes.
claim your independence. Kind of.
Yeah.
And kind of saying, like, I wanted more for myself, so
Mhm.
why don't I help people who are going through it right now?
Yeah.
Why should I just sit here and sit unhappily? Why
Yeah.
can't I be happy and in turn share knowledge, which is what you're doing, which
Yeah.
is awesome. So
So did you want to be like Sue?
I do. I want to be like both of you. That's why I was behind the camera and I was just
Yes, but if you've got
crawl.
your wisdom right now, just think what you will be so wise
Yeah.
when you get.
Yeah, she's already wise.
Yeah,
right?
already
Like,
wise. I mean, yeah, and that's what's cool as well. And with
Mhm.
AI coming in,
oh yeah,
whether it's good or bad, it's this continual change,
Mhm.
and this wonderful brain becomes more. I mean, I've spent 50 years playing with brains, right? Because in anesthesia, you're,
Yes.
like I say, 3 seconds you're going to be asleep, boom, and you are. It's kind of powerful.
I was going to say that power.
It's pretty powerful. So
I
know.
have the power to produce.
So I understand brains, but
Yes.
but it doesn't matter. The older I get, the more in awe I am of what we can do with our
Yeah.
brains.
Mhm.
And
There's so much potential. Why squander it?
Yeah.
Right?
And we're just now not even discovering it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the scratch on the
Yeah.
surface.
Yeah.
Right. There's
Yeah.
so much about the brain.
Yeah. It's fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this has been awesome.
Yes,
Well,
it's been
thank you
great.
for your
Thank
insight.
you. Thank you.
Thank
for-
you. I
Thank you.
just kudos to you, Jenny.
Love it. Love it.